Welcome back to the session once again. Now we would be discussing YTM uh, and also duration. Now, interestingly, these terms YTM and duration, YTM, yield to maturity, and duration are very commonly misunderstood, especially when someone is trying to understand fixed income securities first time. Now, yield to maturity, YTM, is understood as the return that you will get on a particular security till the time you will be holding that security till the maturity. Now, that is how it is understood, but it is not really the case. Likewise, duration of a bond is understood as the tenure of a bond, which is also not correct. And why it is not correct? Because duration of a bond does not have to be calculated if it was to be the tenure, because tenure of a bond is always given. So a bond will have a tenure of 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. So if tenure duration was to be same as tenure, then there was no need to calculate the duration. So duration is completely different, and so is the YTM. And our focus now in the remaining part of this discussion is going to be to master our understanding of what is YTM and what is duration. So number one, what is YTM? Now please remember, as I said earlier, YTM is the rate. YTM is the rate at which, if the future cash flows of a bond are discounted, then the present value of all such future cash flows will be equal to the same amount as is current price. That is YTM. And I'm sure you will remember when we discuss about IRR. So what is IRR? IRR, which is internal rate of return, is the rate at which, if the future cash flows are discounted, then the NPV will become zero. So if you look at both these definitions, you can see both these definitions are identical in all respects, and that is the reason I thought to explain to you in a very simple way as to what is YTM. तो जिस तरह से जब आप एक प्रोजेक्ट का इवेल्युएशन कर रहे हैं, तो प्रोजेक्ट के इवेल्युएशन के लिए आप आईआरआर फाइंड आउट करते हैं, और वो आईआरआर क्या है? वो आईआरआर इज द रेट एट विच द फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज, the total of the future cash flows will be equal to your investment. So same is the case with YTM. So YTM is the rate at which, if future cash flows. So what are the future cash flows in case of a fixed income securities? The future cash flows in case of fixed income securities are going to be the coupon that you will receive over the life of the fixed income security, plus the redemption amount that you would receive at the end of the tenure, isn't it? So ये सबको, ये जो कैश फ्लोज हैं, इसको अगर आप डिस्काउंट करेंगे तो YTM is that rate at which present value of all these future cash flows will be equal to same as the current price of that security. So this is your YTM. Now, what is the utility of YTM? Obviously, so YTM is, in a way, is the minimum rate of return that you must earn on any incremental investment. So if you currently you have invested in certain bonds of certain corporates or the government or any other authority for that matter, and the YTM of those bonds is coming, let's say, 9%. So if you wish to make a fresh investment in any other bond, then the YTM or the YTM of these new bonds should be higher than 9%. Then only it would be good for you to divest the existing bonds and re-enter the new bonds. So that is the utility of YTM. This is the simple example that I have explained to you. But YTM ultimately is going to help you in taking all the investment and disinvestment decisions. How to find
Sir,
YTM? Yep,
one question, sir.
please.
So, if the YTM of any security or any bond is 5% or 6%,
Mm-hmm.
so we are not earning anything per se at exactly at YTM, because it's the same price it is going. If I have 100 rupees right now,
Hmm.
and after 1 year the value of it is going to be 105, and the YTM is 5%, then we are not earning anything at the end of 1 year. Then
No, no, no.
it's just equalizing the value,
Uh-huh.
present value, and the future value.
Right. Very good. Very good. Very good question. Very, very good question. Now, how do you make use of IRR while taking capex decisions?
In the same way that what is going to be the future value of this particular investment.
Right. So what you do, that's a very good question. So, and let me put it in a very simplistic way. So, when you are taking a decision about capex, what you do, you find out the IRR of the capex,
Correct.
and you compare that IRR of the capex with your cost of capital, your actual cost of capital, or your expected rate of return. So
Okay.
what happens in case of capex? Um if a project is giving you an IRR of 15% and your cost of capital is 12%, isn't it? So you will go for the this project because this project is giving you internal rate of return which is 15%, which is more than your cost of capital which is 12%. That means you are
Okay.
earning a return of 3%. So
Okay.
same way, when you are dealing in the fixed income securities, you will find out the YTM of a particular investment and compare that YTM of that investment with your cost of capital. So if the YTM of a bond is coming 11% and your cost of capital is 9%, of course you should make investment in that bond. But if your cost of capital is 12% and the YTM on the security is 11%, that means if you make investment in this bond, you are not going to get a positive return. On the contrary, you will be losing 1%. Right? So this is how you will take a decision. I hope that answers
So
your
the
query.
inflation is also the same thing then. So even the inflation percentage gives
Very good.
us like what is going to the value in the
Very
future,
good.
right?
Very good. Very good. Now remember, that's a good point. Now please remember, inflation is not same as IRR. Inflation is not same as YTM. Inflation is one component of your cost of capital.
Okay.
Okay, inflation is one component of your cost of capital, and that's a good question, and all of you please pay attention. So देखिए, अब मैं बिजनेस में हूँ और मुझे डिसीजन लेने हैं परचेजिंग के और ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ के, इनऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ के, कैपेक्स के, न्यू इन्वेस्टमेंट के. आई हैव टू टेक लॉट ऑफ डिसीजंस. So ultimately, how will I take those decisions? Those decisions ultimately will be governed by numbers. So what that number is, that predominantly that number is a return that I am going to get from an investment that I am going to make. So, can I take only inflation as the reference rate? If I do it, it is going to be suicidal. Why? Because if inflation is 7%, and if I expect only 7% to come as a return, then I am going to be in trouble because 7% is the inflation. I am earning 7%. So, practically, I am not earning anything because whatever I am earning is getting eroded by the inflation. सो आई विल नीड टू एड समथिंग टू वॉट इज इन्फ्लेशन. दैट मीन जो 7% तो कमाना ही कमाना है, 7% के ऊपर भी कुछ और कमाना है. ऊपर कितना कमाना है कि क्या मैं जो नंबर वन आई एम पुटिंग माई एफर्ट्स. So I have to add some premium for the efforts that I'm putting by making that business, by taking that business venture. So I need, say, let's say 7% is the inflation, and I add 3% for the efforts that I'm putting. It becomes 10%. So 10% तो ठीक है. Is that end of it? Is that all? Of course not, because I am entering into a different industry. That industry may be additionally risky. So if that industry is additionally risky, then I must get some additional return for the risk that I am taking. So let I add 3% for that as well. So 7% for the inflation, 3% for the efforts that I am putting, and 3% for the risk that I am taking by venturing into a particular industry. So my cost of capital becomes 13%, or my return expectation becomes 13%. So 13% becomes the reference point for me to take a decision. I am sure all of you must be understanding it very clearly. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जब तक कोई बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटी मुझे 13% से ज़्यादा का रिटर्न नहीं देती है, उस बिजनेस में घुसने में कोई मतलब नहीं है. So this is how it is. I hope that answers your query.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay. So now we will we understand what is YTM. Now let us understand what is the relationship between YTM, coupon rate, and value of a bond. So please understand, all of you, YTM also would mean cost of capital. YTM would also mean reference point. YTM will also mean hurdle rate. YTM will also mean benchmark rate. YTM will also mean reference rate. So YTM will also mean minimum rate of return, expected rate of return, required rate of return. So these are the different terms which are used interchangeably for the purpose of taking a decision. Now the question is, how do we calculate YTM? So there's a small case. Calculate YTM for a bond of face value of rupees 100. Currently it is selling at 95 rupees with 5 annual coupon of 12% remaining with redemption at par. So you have the case in front of you. So you have 95 rupees is the investment that I am making today. I am getting return of 12 rupees for next 5 years. In the 5th year I am going to get my redemption, which is going to be 100 rupees. So in 5th year I will receive 112 rupees. So then now the question is, how do I calculate the IRR? So one is, I will need to solve this equation, which will have to be done through trial and error method. Second is, what I can do, I can simply go to Excel and find out the IRR of this cash flow, and that will give me the YTM, because as I told you, YTM is same as IRR. So how do I calculate the YTM in this case? Remember, 95% is what I am investing, and so let me do this for you. In the 0 year, I am making investment of 95 rupees, or that means I am investing 95 rupees into this security. This security is going to give me a coupon of 12 rupees over next 5 years, so which is 112 rupees, 12 rupees, 12 rupees for 5 years. In the 5th year, I am not only going to get the coupon but also will get the redemption, which is 100 rupees. So my cash flow in the 5th year is going to be 112 rupees. So how do I calculate the YTM? Remember, YTM is same as IRR. So what I need to do is, I just need to use the Excel sheet, put equal sign, write IRR, start the parenthesis, and select the cash flow for which I need to calculate YTM, and close the parenthesis and just press the enter, and here I get 13.44%. So 13.44% is my YTM, and please understand, what does it mean? It means 13.44% is the yield that I am earning on this investment. How it is going to help me take a decision? Now I need to check, what is my cost of capital? What is my required rate of return? What is my minimum required rate of return, or expected rate of return, or reference rate of return, or benchmark rate of return, or hurdle rate of return? That means, what is the rate that minimum I have to earn? Otherwise, I will not take a decision. So if I find out, if I look at my cost of capital as an investment fund, or as mutual fund, or as equity fund, or a venture capital fund, or as a pension fund, or as a wealth management company, if I look at the cost of my capital and that comes to 10%, so my cost of capital is 10%, this bond is giving me a YTM of 13.44%. That means on this investment I am meeting my return expectation, and I am earning 13.44. That means this investment is giving me return which is more than my cost of capital. That means I must go ahead with this investment. There is no problem. But if I realize that my cost of capital is 15%, and this bond is going to give me a return of 13.44%. That means the yield that I'm earning on this bond is less than the cost of capital that I have. That means if I invest my money in this bond, I'm going to incur a loss, and therefore I should avoid putting investment into this bond actually. So this is how, friends, we use the YTM for the purpose of decision making. I can give you one more example, and then you can keep on thinking of many such examples. So let's say you have 100 crore to invest, and you have two options, two bonds available for investment, right? And taking everything into account, you will see as to what is the you will find out what is the YTM of both these investment, right? And if you have to choose between these two investment, these two bonds, so how will you take a decision as to which bond to invest your money in? Obviously, the bond that will have a higher YTM, you will invest your money into that bond actually. So this is how it is. Okay, sometimes it can also happen that as a business you may not like to put all your money into one basket. So in principle, there's a difference of a few basis points between two bonds. You may still decide to invest both of them, knowing fully well that one bond is offering you lesser YTM, but because you want to diversify your risk, and that is the reason why you are making investment in both the bonds. But remember, you're making a conscious decision. So friends, this is how you will calculate YTM, and this is how YTM is used for the purpose of decision making. So this is how we have done. We have found out the YTM. What is pricing or valuation of a bond, and how to carry it out? So how do you price a bond? How do you find value of a bond? I'm sure, in case if you do not have any pre-study of this, it might sound little complex to you. Oh my God, how to find price or value of a bond and how to carry it out. But when I explain to you, you will be very pleasantly happy that it is very simple to find price of a bond or value of a bond. So how to find the price of a bond or value of a bond? Very simple. How would you find value of a new capex that you are undertaking, planning to take? You will find out value of a new capex that you are planning to undertake by finding out the intrinsic value of that project. And same way, you will find out value of a bond by finding out intrinsic value of that bond. And how do you find out intrinsic value of that bond? You find out intrinsic value of a bond by discounting the future cash flows of that bond with your required rate of return, and total of the present value of all those cash flows becomes the value of your bond. Let us understand that with the help of an example. So a bond of rupees 1000 with a coupon rate of 7%, 5 years to maturity. Investors required rate of return is 8%, so that is his minimum required rate of return. That is his expected rate of return, that is the minimum that he has to earn. That means it is his cost of capital. I'm sure you are understanding. So my cost of capital, अगर मेरी cost of capital 10% है, तो by default it also becomes my minimum required rate of return. By default it also becomes my least expected cost rate of return. By default it becomes my benchmark. By default it becomes my reference rate. By default it becomes my hurdle rate, because anything which is less than 10% I will not accept. So in this case the required rate of return is 8%. So how do we do the value of this bond? Very simple. So this is how we will do the valuation of this bond. So here are the year, column number 1. I'll put all the years 1 to 5, and cash flows. So it's a bond of face value 1000 rupees, coupon rate is 7%, and so what is going to happen is I am going to earn 70 rupees over next 5 years. In the 5th year I am going to get not only 70 rupees of coupon, but I will also get my 1000 of investment, and my required rate is 8%, that is my cost of capital. So my present value factor at 8% becomes 0.926 for the first year, and 0.857 for the second year, 0.794 for the third year, 0.735 for the fourth year, and 0.681 for the fifth year. So that's my present value discounting factor. What do I need to do? I need to find out the present value. How do I find out the present value? Cash flow multiplied with this discount factor, and that becomes my present value. So here are my present value. So my present value of the 70 rupees that I am getting in the first year is 64.82. So this is how I will find out present value of all the cash flows that I have for all the years, and when I total them, it comes to 960.51. Now friends, I am sure you can understand. So this bond of rupees 1000, this bond of rupees 1000, which is having a coupon rate of 7%, a tenure of 5 years. Now, and if my cost of capital is 8%, it means for me, value of this bond today is 960.51. That means if I have to purchase this bond, I would be prepared to pay any amount less than 960.51. Any amount, if I pay more than 960.51, this bond is going to be a loss incurring for me and not profit making for me. Why? Because please understand, why is that so? That is because the rate of interest, the rate of coupon on this bond is 7%, and my cost of capital is 8%. And that's the reason why the price of the value of this bond for me is 960.51. Please understand one more thing. Now, is this same bond, which is for me worth 960 rupees today, this same bond to someone whose cost of capital is 6%, can be more than 1000 rupees. And why it can be more than 1000 rupees? Because his cost of capital is less, and so he is earning more than what is cost of capital, right? Whereas for me, my cost of capital is 8%. तो अगर मैं मेरी कॉस्ट 8% है और मुझे 7% का अगर उस पर ब्याज मिलने वाला है, तो ऑब्वियसली ये बॉन्ड मेरे लिए वर्थ नहीं है. So this is how we calculate the value of the bond or pricing of the bond. Let me throw this open to all of you. In case if you have understood it, please tell me so. Else I can still explain it. Everyone?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, very good. Very good. Now let's understand the price behavior of a bond. So, what is the meaning of price behavior? Now, please understand, as I said in the beginning, fixed income securities का मतलब क्या है? Fixed income securities का मतलब है securities on which you earn a return at a fixed rate. That is fixed income securities. Now, please understand, there is always a relationship between the coupon rate and the market interest rate. Coupon rate and the market interest rate. And please understand, market interest rate becomes a reference rate for you. Okay, so coupon rate or market rate and the price of the bond are interrelated. And how they are interrelated, let us understand. So here we have an example of a bond where the rate of coupon is 10%. यानी कि जिस बॉन्ड की हम बात कर रहे हैं, उस बॉन्ड की जो कूपन रेट है वो 10% की है, राइट? 10% की है ना? इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर मैं इस बॉन्ड में इन्वेस्ट करता हूँ तो मुझे 10% के हिसाब से इंटरेस्ट मिलेगा. I will earn interest at the rate of 10% if I invest my money into this bond, right? Isn't it? Okay. Now let's see how the value of this bond will vary depending on the market interest rate. अब तो ये तो कूपन का रेट हो गया, ये कूपन रेट हो गया 10% का, लेकिन मार्केट का इंटरेस्ट सिनेरियो क्या, मार्केट में जो इंटरेस्ट रेट है उसका क्या सिनेरियो है? लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड. सो अब देखिए, अगर मार्केट इंटरेस्ट रेट इज 8%, ठीक है, मार्केट इंटरेस्ट रेट इज 8% एंड कूपन रेट is 10%. It means what? It means this bond is giving me more milk than any other cow in the market. This bond is giving me more milk than any other bond in the market. तो बताइए ये जो बॉन्ड है ये प्रीमियम बॉन्ड होगा कि डिस्काउंट बॉन्ड होगा कि नॉर्मल बॉन्ड होगा. Obviously, if a cow which is giving me more milk than other cows, then the cow which is giving more milk is going to be more valuable, isn't it? So that is why if the bond rate is 10% and the market interest rate, prevalent market interest rate is 8%, that means this is a premium bond. This bond is going to be in demand. So this bond will have a higher valuation. If the rate comes down to 9%, it is still a premium bond, but not as premium as it was at 8%. Now, if the bond coupon rate is 10% and the market rate is also 10%, then will it make any difference? Then it is neutral, because the market rate is 10% or this bond coupon rate is also 10%. That means nothing very great about it. It's a neutral situation. But if the market rate is 11%, this bond is giving me 10%. Tell me, this bond is valuable for me or it is not valuable for me? I am sure you will agree with me. This bond is not valuable for me. This bond is not an asset. This bond is liability. And why this bond is liability? Because if I would have invested my money into some other bond, I would have earned 11%. Whereas by investing my money into this bond, I am earning only 10%. That means this bond is not an asset. This bond is a liability. And if the market rate is 12% and this bond is giving me only 10%, then it is even worse. Then it is known as discount bond. And you know why it is known as discount bond? Because this bond, the value of this bond is at a discount for me, and that is how the price behavior of a bond moves. We will quickly have 2 minutes together and then we'll wind up. So with this understanding of market rate and bond rate and the value of a bond, let us further strengthen our understanding about it. So all of you can give me the answer, and I'm sure all of you would be able to give me the answer. Please tell me if YTM, so when I say YTM, it also means it also means the market rate of interest. If YTM is equal to coupon, market value of a bond is, what is your answer? Greater?
Same as, exactly.
Yeah?
Same.
Very good. Excellent. YTM is lower than the coupon rate. Market value will be?
Lower than.
Say it again.
Lower than. Lower.
So YTM is lower than the coupon. So market value will be? Just think about it.
Less than that.
YTM is what? YTM is the yield. YTM is the market rate. So market rate
market rate is lower.
Lower.
The
market rate is lower.
So bond will be issued at discount, right?
Okay. YTM is greater than the coupon. Will be, market value will be? Okay. Now I am purposely discussing it with you because I am aware, मुझे मालूम है ये थोड़ा confusing है, लेकिन एक बार आपने इसको पकड़ लिया तो आप इसको जिंदगी भर नहीं भूलोगे. Please understand, YTM is lower than the coupon. YTM is the market interest. यानी कि मार्केट में जो इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है वो है 8%. आपका जो बॉन्ड है वो आपको दे रहा है 10%. तो बॉन्ड की वैल्यू ज़्यादा होगी कि कम होगी? ज़्यादा होगी. मार्केट का जो रेट है वो है 12%. आपका बॉन्ड दे रहा है 10%. बॉन्ड की वैल्यू कम होगी कि ज़्यादा होगी? कम होगी. एंड यू आर राइट. सो दिस इज, ये जो रिलेशनशिप है, this relationship I think we need to set up in our mind. So, friends, with this, I'm happy to come to the close of my session. It's already 11:02. I'm sure you will have the next session also planned by someone. So, let me thank all of you once again, and also thank the RVO for giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. Now, in case you would like to make note of my contact details, now incidentally I have uh, a lot of videos of mine uploaded on my YouTube channel. So अगर आप में से किसी को interest है तो I can share the link of those 320 videos that I have, and those 320 videos I have uploaded over the years only to help the young aspirants of the valuation exam. तो अगर आप में से किसी को इंटरेस्ट है वो वीडियोस देखने के लिए 320 वीडियोस, so you can just send me a WhatsApp message and I would be very happy to share all those the link for those 320 videos, which I am sure should help you. So with this, thank you so much and wishing you all the very best. So over to you, Mohit. Now I am done. Thank you.